All right. As you've probably all heard, Donald Trump has been taken to the hospital, Walter Reed Medical Center, and so you're probably wondering why so early. So if you've been paying attention and to how this disease normally progresses, you will you could get a fever, and it's normal to get it within 1 or 2 days as Trump is getting in. Plus, we don't know exactly when he was infected. He could have been asymptomatic earlier. But normally, people don't have the biggest problems until day 7, 8, 9, 10. And so he's going into the hospital really early, and I want to tell you why. First, I just want to do the regular shout outs I normally do for live videos are sponsored by twostrongcoffee.com/TYT. It's progressive coffee. If you buy 2 bags or more, they actually help progressive causes like Just Democrats, Wolfpack, Rebellion Pack, and Wolfpack's not progressive; it's nonpartisan, but it's helping to bring positive change into the world. And folks like Just Democrats and Rebellion Pack don't take their ads off the air like Joe Biden does when we need to win an election. So, anyways, it helps in a couple of ways, and it's an organic and fair trade. Throwing in a lot of commentary there on stuff that Anna already talked about on the live show, which I hope you checked out. If you miss any portion of the shows, obviously, the best way to get all of our content is to become a member. You could do that by hitting the join button below right here on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. If not, tyt.com/join gets you all the privileges of membership. So, and I always see our members here, Kimberly McNaught, Chris Hurley. Those are folks who already signed up and have the TYT badge on YouTube. Nadia Sonier, thank you so much for just joining up right now. And I try to read the names of folks joining up in the middle of videos. Now, let me get to why he went to the hospital. So they say out of an abundance of caution, but they never clarify. So sure, things can go wrong generically, and especially you've got the president. They're not going to treat them like a normal person. He gets the experimental drug. I've looked into that drug, by the way. The good news for people who want Trump to get healthy, which I hope is almost all of you, is and for different reasons perhaps, but we should all want him to get better. Is because the good news is that that drug does not have much of a downside at all. It's not perfectly clear yet that it has an upside, and if you wanted to take it as a precaution, you wouldn't be allowed to. The president got a special exemption because it's not through clinical trials yet. But it's not the kind of thing that might do him damage accidentally. So that's good news for his health. Okay. And in fact, there's a lot of precautions now. And I'll talk also about what is his percentage chance of survival here in this situation. So, and the overall answer is really good. I'd say at least, and this is super rough, guys. I mean, number one, I'm obviously not a doctor or a scientist. This is based on scientists that I have talked to, but reading dozens and dozens of articles about this. But again, even so, it's super rough. I'd say he has about a 98% chance of survival. So I know everybody's super concerned, and he's 74 years old, and he's got a couple of issues. In fact, the one that I'm about to tell you about, that's the number one reason he went to the hospital, is relevant here, and including a comorbidity of obesity, etc. But he's and otherwise looks to be non-frail, and he has the best care in the world. But also because of these factors, guys, the treatment has gotten way better since this began. So we don't have a cure and we don't have a vaccine, but treatment has brought down morbidity a lot. And we've talked to you about that before on the show. So as dangerous as this is and as cautious as we should be, and obviously this is an excellent example of that, and we should all be wearing masks. Part of the reason the fatality has gone down is because we are wearing masks and taking precautions. But the other reason is because the medicine in treating it has gotten better. It's gotten better on a couple of fronts, both in fighting the virus, but also regulating your body so that it doesn't overcompensate as it's fighting the virus. Kevin C., thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. Let me do 2 quick shout outs here before they leave. Brandon Santos, thanks for being for watching for so long and for being using YouTube Super Chat. And Sarah Horton, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate it, guys. So, but so if it turns out he has such a good chance of survival, Um, and they have all this medicine now that helps to um, ensure that it stabilizes his body and lowers the effects of the virus. Why bother taking him to the hospital? Because of the other comorbidity, which is that he clearly had a heart issue earlier when he went to Walter Reed Medical Center abruptly. Remember, that's the thing they lied about and said, oh, no, I was going to do a normal checkup and I just decided to do it in a panic instead. No, that's not a thing. No, you don't go to Walter Reed. And then there was the stories that came out that basically indicated it was some sort of heart condition. Some speculated it might have even been a stroke. That part I don't know. Okay, but we do know that it is likely that it was some sort of not just a heart condition, but an event. So whatever it was, it concerned doctors enough to rush him to the hospital back then, which is pretty recently. Roughly, my recollection is about a year ago. And so now that's where one part of coronavirus becomes super relevant. So people die for different reasons if you have coronavirus. Like I just said, like including your body's overreaction to the virus. But one thing that's particularly fatal and really to look out for is blood clots. And if you already have a heart problem, then you really got to watch out for blood clots. So even as I tell you this, I'm thinking of moving the 98% number because that's really a wild card and that changes the odds here a little bit. So, and if the president has a heart condition or anyone has a heart, not a condition, but has something that becomes an issue, like a heart attack, a stroke, a blood clot, then you need him in the hospital. You can't then, you don't have the luxury of time to then get him on a stretcher into the helicopter, which is way worse in the case of optics. As some of you might have already seen today, he walked to the helicopter. He walked off the helicopter. He had a mask on. Finally, his whole crew had a mask on, which they had not had on before. Oh, I see. When it's your life on the line, all of a sudden you care about masks. When it was other people's lives on the line and we were losing 200,000 people, you sent out a terrible message of not wearing masks. Now that when it's caught up to you, all of a sudden you care. Yes, Fernandez, thanks for becoming a member. Let me do those shout outs again real quick. Soul Brother Mac, which is an awesome name, just signed up. And so did Asmer Glenn. And so thank you guys for being members. Hit the join button below to become one. And again, thanks to our sponsor, twostrongcoffee.com/TYT. And we'll put all these links down below. And if you want to help make sure this show is strong and gets our message out, tyt.com/go. That's our campaign throughout the year. Okay, so now to wrap up, if you've got a pre-existing heart condition and you've got coronavirus, and one of the top things you'd worried about, especially for a 74-year-old, is blood clots, you got to get the guy to the hospital right away because you cannot risk him having a heart event, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, while he's at the White House rather than being at the hospital. So that appears to be, based on what I'm seeing in my analysis of it, the number one reason that they rushed him right away to the hospital. And yes, there are reports out now, including from Caitlin Collins of CNN, saying they are freaked out inside the White House and that Trump was freaked out. You know, he's such funny, absurd human being. I think that he really thought it wasn't that big a deal. And he really thought, I'm strong. I have good genes. So when the fever hit him late last night and this morning, Jonathan Carl from ABC is also confirming that. Sources inside the White House saying he got rattled. He got shook. And so since they're freaking out, he's like, normally he would hate to be taken to the hospital. It shows weakness. But in his mind, in reality, get to the hospital. Who cares? Don't take any chances with your life. What are you, nuts? But Trump is nuts. So he's like, oh, I will be strong, etc. And then when the fever hits him, and apparently he's in bad shape at that point, then they got to get him out of there. So now that he's at the hospital and they're giving him every drug available without the side effects to make sure they bring the antibodies to the right levels as much as they can. The only real threat, that's not fair, but the biggest real threat is the blood clots. and what would happen if that happens. So that's what they have to be on very, very close watch for right now as we speak. I thought Trump would leave office before his term was up. I certainly didn't think it would happen this way. But he's a showman, and this is a hell of a series finale. Either way, obviously, but as you can tell from what I'm saying, now that I've got more information, I'm less concerned about his health. Although you never know because of the thing I just explained to you. But then the question is, how quickly does he recover? He's got to quarantine when he comes back out. I don't know if he'll be so brazen that he go, I don't care. I don't care what kind of a bad message it sends. I'm not going to quarantine anyway. But basically, it would take about a week to recover, and then you've got to take 2 weeks if things are going well. And then you got to take 2 weeks to self quarantine. Doesn't mean he can't talk to people from the White House. He can. But obviously, he's got to stop doing insane massless rallies. As I explained earlier in the day, guys, he right now he's got a situation where his chief of staff is worried. He has some symptoms. I don't know if he got tested yet, if we've got the results back yet. That's Mark Meadows. Obviously, Hope Hicks is the aide that had the coronavirus in the first place, and why we thought Trump might have it. She's very close to him. Obviously, Melania Trump has it. He did that video from before he got on the helicopter saying, I'm okay. And then he added, oh, and Melania is very good. I don't know if it was a second take and they had to remind him, your wife, remember, people care about your wife. But either way, it seemed like an afterthought. But if things go normal, he will recover and he'll be back in action in about a week, 10 days or so. Action as in he can talk, he can tweet, he can do videos, he can speak from the White House. But given how it has devastated his staff, and now they're all freaked out and worried, for God's sake, stop doing the massless rallies. In fact, at the debate, the moderators were furious with the Trump family because everybody was wearing masks except them, and they thought they're above the law and above science, above medicine. And so they all sat around like, honestly, I don't know if I'm not supposed to say this because Melania is sick, but it's reality. So I'm going to be honest with you. They sat around like jackasses without their masks on inside, and they've done that countless times, and it finally caught up with them. By the way, Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend, Kimberly Guilfoyle, also coronavirus. Head of the RNC, also coronavirus. Now, Mike Lee, he's a Republican senator, also coronavirus. So it's running rampant throughout the Republican Party. I don't know if we'll get word of the Republican donors, but remember, Trump went to a donor event where it was partly inside, partly outside to raise money, and he might have gotten the top Republican donors in the country sick. Well, let's see if we find out about that. So, I mean, Trump here, even in sickness, has become a one-man wrecking crew for not the other side. He's not owning the libs. It's the exact opposite for his own side. And that doesn't even get to the political mistakes that he has made. So, guys, I love that you guys become members because that means we're doing the show together. And we get strength from you guys. So please don't forget tyt.com/go. But I want to read out the member names and the super chats that just joined or shouted out. Misty Bowers just used YouTube super chat. Thank you so much. Let me go back here and give credit to as many people as I can. Anthony Thornsberry, thank you for using YouTube super chat. Same with Diane Hutchins. Aaron Carlino, thank you for becoming a member. Damon Hickey, thank you for using YouTube super chat. Rachel Stevens, just hit the join button below to become a member. Thank you, Rachel. Really appreciate it. Christopher Law using YouTube Super Chat. Lee Peacock just became a member. Fallon Fox just used YouTube Super Chat. And Kevin C., very generous, already a member at tyt.com. And Kevin saying, time to expand. I would love that, brother. I would love that. We grow stronger together. Modern day Hercules just joined. How could we go wrong? I mean, you want to talk about too strong. Modern day Hercules is on the team now. And you guys all are. If you're all members or you gave at tyt.com/go, you are the Young Turks. So Dave Sev, thank you for joining. Lisa, thank you for using YouTube Super Chat. Christopher Law, I told you about. Misty Bowers. I don't want to miss anybody. Rachel Stevens. Lee Peacock. Okay, I might have missed one or two people there, and I hate to do that because we can't do this show without you guys. Arcola R just became a member. Ragver Elliott just became a member. And so, guys, I'm going to keep doing videos throughout the weekend to give you the updates and to give you all the Burgess. Thank you for upgrading your membership. We appreciate it. All right, much love. Chris Good, thank you for becoming a member. Let's stay tuned here and see how things develop, both the health and the political implications. David Pacelli, thank you. Pat O, thank you for using YouTube Super Chat. Mike Lee, Nero, thank you for becoming a member. Melanie Brown, thank you for becoming a member. You guys are overwhelming me, and I love it. All right, guys, have a great weekend, but I'll see you soon.